here. All right, good morning. Welcome to the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. It is July 19th, 2024. Today we have the pleasure of Tony Beshara. He'll be joining us shortly to provide a wonderful presentation on the top 10 mistakes of resume writing. All right. Just as a reminder, our fearless leader, Jeff Morris, still in recovery. He's had an illustrious career creating careerdfw.org, which hasn't been updated recently. So there's a few bits and pieces of that website that are out of date, but most of it is good. He's also the author of careerusa.org and has written a book and has been a member of the PIC group. While he is convalescing, Walt Glass and I have agreed to volunteer and run the show. Today's agenda is success stories, 30-second introductions. By the way, we do have 2 success stories. Then we'll do the career tip of the week, courtesy of Rosina, talk about the interview success workshop and talk about the pit crew, and then move on to the main event with Tony. All right. Michael Cruz. Don't see him online, but he's been with us for a bit. He started Monday of this week at Coke Capabilities as a finance leader. Also, Neil Kampf, if I pronounce that correctly. Neil, are you on? He wasn't sure he's going to be able to make it. I do not see him. He also landed as director of IT at Kubota. So another round of applause there. We'll enjoy some virtual donuts in their absence, but congratulations to you both. All right, it's time for introductions. So if you would put your name, LinkedIn address, email, phone, and position and target companies in the chat box, and we will play a little ditty if I can get it to work.
Fair sound.
I did not.
They don't show up with them.
It's not coming through either. All right.
Skip it.
So while you're doing that, for the folks in the room, you know the drill. Please provide your name, pause between your first and last name, what you're looking for, what you can help companies do, where you need some contacts. And if you have a contact for that person, please contact them offline and then let us know where you have contacts and where you can help other people. All right. So would some brave soul start us off? Come up, grab the microphone, turn it on. Jama, thank you very much for volunteering. And the microphone is right there. Turn it on. And don't forget to, there you go. Ta-da.
Except for everybody but you, Jim.
Good morning, everybody. Okay. My name is Jama Ball. I'm a senior global operations leader whose superpower is transforming organizational chaos into order. I've leveraged that expertise in hospitality, healthcare, and SaaS platform companies. I'm currently looking for job titles, VP or Director of Operations, specifically in service delivery or product implementation. I need contacts at a company called Affirm, AFFIRM, and at Priceline. I have contacts throughout the hospitality industry. Unfortunately, none of them are active with Priceline. My name is Jama Ball.
Hello, everybody. I'm Stephen Sulkin. I'm Director of Operations Excellence, or also called Process Improvement. My superpower is bringing people together, using organizational psychology to address the cultural barriers to lean employment. I can help with contacts at Baylor Scott and White Health, and I'm looking for help getting contacts at Hilti Industries, or children's health. My name is Stephen Sullivan.
Line up.
If you guys could line up, it'll go a little quicker. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Brad Yearwood. Looking for senior program manager role in the DFW area. I'm a certified Scrum Master, and I help people turn data into value. I'm in the data and analytics space, so that's my specialty. I really don't need any contacts right now, but I do have a lot of contacts at PepsiCo. So if anybody needs anything related to PepsiCo, I'd be willing to help out a lot there. Again, my name is Brad Yearwood.
Thank you, Brad.
Hello, my name is Steve Clements. I'm looking for director level or head of design, product strategy roles. I am a digital product strategist and team manager. I lead teams that build client and customer digital solutions for various services and products. I'm targeting the technology and healthcare and other product retail spaces. I have a variety of contacts. If you want to connect on LinkedIn, feel free to just say this is what I need, and I'll try to help you out. My name is Steve Clements.
Thank you, Steve. Kimberly, how you doing?
Thank you. I'm Kimberly Ball. I am a transitioning teacher after 22 years of math and engineering. I am looking for a degree in accounting. I have a bachelor's degree in accounting. And my passion, I just noticed that today. My passion is really people. And so I would prefer to be in a role where I'm gonna, where I'm collaborating or dealing with clients. And I have a lot of contacts in education, so anybody in educational sales, please contact me. My name is Kimberly Ball, B-A-L-L.
Good morning. My name is Stefan Hirsch. I'm looking for a job as a sales support specialist, deal enablement, inside sales, anything that has to do around supporting sales organizations, and preferably in the technical area. So I've been working for the telecom industry for over 20 years, and I'm looking for something in the technical and maybe not so technical field. I don't need any contacts for any specific companies right now. I'm open to kind of any kind of company. Preferably maybe some of the lower level, lower kind of, not the most biggest companies, more like into kind of the companies not everyone knows. And I have contact in the telecom industry all over the place. So you're interested in that area, just let me know. Again, my name is Stefan Hirsch.
Hi, I'm Penn Hoyt. I'm a B2B marketing executive with a specialty in demand generation. My experience ranges from Fortune 500 companies all the way to startups. So I've been on the edge and the leading edge with different companies as we go forward. I help companies, as we said, drive leads to their sales force. I also understand how engineers talk a lot, so I can translate from engineering to what we call basic English. A lot of times as we move through things. I'm looking for a contact at Intuit in their B2B small business marketing department. Intuit's a huge company, that's why I'm getting specific on that. I have contacts in a lot of industries because I've been around, as my kids said, since the dark ages. So if you're looking for things, I'd be happy to help you on out. Again, my name is Penn Hoyt.
I can help you with Intuit. See me after the meeting.
Great, thank you.
Morning.
Good morning. Hi, my name is Paul Jacobs. I'm looking for some roles in customer service and customer delivery. Worked in the UK actually before moving here for a number of companies, mostly in the railroad industry and teaching. I need contacts perhaps in customer service delivery, which is a very broad brush. And I'm sure somebody, but maybe here or elsewhere, can give me a hand. Thank you.
Welcome. Anthony.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Anthony Autry. I'm a senior retail manager / merchandise operationist I help companies grow sales at the same time, grow profit and reduce costs. Anthony Archery.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Peter, yet another Englishman, Watson. My job titles are services delivery and project management in the high-tech business or industries. And I'm looking locally in Plano. I don't want to be going sort of right downtown Dallas, ideally. So local companies, I have contacts at Ericsson and Verizon, and my name is Peter Watson.
Can we get everybody in the room? William?
And we got that one right.
Akisha?
Don't forget allocation.
Go ahead, William.
All right, I think it's. All right, everything's good. All right, my name is William McLaughlin, currently seeking a data analyst role. I do the research necessary to help companies improve their bottom lines onto the use of data. Currently looking for contacts at CoreLogic and Dave & Buster's. Again, my name is William McLaughlin.
Good morning, my name is Alkeisha Rodriguez. I am a technical implementation project manager. I translate the technical into tangible to make it profitable while maintaining humanity in the midst of expanding technology. I don't really need contacts right now, but I'm willing to share the contacts that I do have. Alkeisha Rodriguez.
Thank you very much. We get everybody? All right, if you would turn that mic off and just set it on the chair there. All right, online, Jeff Press.
Good morning, everyone. My glasses just fell. I'm here more just to
Can't hear you,
observe.
Jeff.
Can you hear me? Can everyone on? I have a feeling everyone online can hear me, but they can't hear me.
Online, we can hear you.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jeff Prass. I'm actually coming to you from north of Chicago in Highland Park. I am just here to be honest, I'm here more for the topic. I'm currently looking in the nonprofit area for any organization that's mission driven. My background is in teaching, director of education, and operations. I don't have any companies at this moment that I'm looking for. My name is Jeff Price.
Welcome, Jeff. John Gorman.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. John Gorman, also out of Chicagoland, west of Jeff, western suburbs. But, I am looking for roles in corporate finance, project management, or a hybrid of the two. And I'm known for cost savings, team building, and I have a passion for process improvements. John Gorman.
Thank you, John. Kimberly Kunov. Must be getting coffee. Trey Chopi.
Yes, hi, I'm Trey Chapey. I am a Chief Human Resource Officer, and I'm looking for my next Chief Human Resource Officer, Chief People Officer, or SVP of HR role. I am here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and I am motivated to attract, develop, and motivate workforces to be their best each day. My superpower is that I facilitate great cultures and work environments that create a sense of belonging in a place where employees want to be. I have deep experience as a CHRO with multi-site, multinational global workforces and many diverse industries. And I also have extensive private equity, public startup, and merger and acquisition, large and small company experience. And so the companies that I'm interested in right now is Kimberly-Clark, is if anyone has a contact there.
Thank you, Trey. Rhonda
Good morning. I'm Rhonda Sellers in the DFW Metroplex area. I'm a construction specifications writer. I write and edit architectural specifications, coordinate specs and drawings, collaborate with architects, interior designers, engineers, and manufacturers reps, plus I research technical information. I'm identifying target firms via informational interviews. I'm Rhonda Sellers.
Vitaly.
Good morning. My name is Vitaly Platonov. I'm looking for position of supply chain manager or senior logistics specialist. I provide solution for delivery of vehicles or other goods by sea or truck transportation. I'm individual contributor, well-developed skills, and team leader. My passion is to deliver goods at the lowest cost possible, but in time. I need contacts at Packard company and Toyota. I've got one, but still would appreciate another one. My name is Vitaly Platonov. Thank you.
Thank you. Rosina.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rosina Gallman, and I'm your Career Tip of the Week host, which you'll hear from me in just a few minutes. I'm currently a senior talent acquisition consultant, otherwise known as a senior recruiter, and I help companies find the right talent to fit their open roles. I need contacts at Delta Dental, MetLife, and Cigna, yet I am open to other industry possibilities and have worked across many industries already. So I have contacts in a variety of companies, and as I hear them, I'll provide them directly to those people. Again, I am Rosina Gallman, Senior Talent Acquisition Consultant.
Thanks, Rosina. Tien Tran. Apologies if I butchered that name. All right. Tracy Harris.
Good morning. My name is Tracy Harris. I'm a senior recruiter at Thomas Edwards Group. We're a local firm here in the DFW Metroplex, specializing in accounting and finance recruiting. We also do some HR and IT as well. But we work on permanent roles, contract to hire. And we work in various industries and size of companies. I'm a senior recruiter at Thomas Edwards Group, and my name is Tracy Harris.
Tracy, always a pleasure. Thanks for joining us. Will.
Hi, I'm Will Puttick. I'm zooming in from Austin, Texas. I'm an experienced senior manufacturing engineer in the automotive industry, driving quality improvements for leading manufacturers like Tesla and General Motors. I'm currently looking for opportunities in supplier quality or dimensional engineering in DFW or Austin metro areas. I'm interested in automotive, aerospace, or defense, targeting Toyota, Packard, Lockheed, Bell, Raytheon, and SpaceX. I'm Will Puttick. And also I have contacts at General Motors.
Will, I can help you with Bell Textron if you'll ping me after the meeting.
Great, thank you.
All right. Did I miss anyone online? Kimberly, are you back? Anyone else? All right. Thank you very much. Now it's time for our career tip of the week. Rosina.
All right. Thank you, Matt. Okay. So this week's career tip of the week is the article is 75 plus resume accomplishments to show your value. Excuse me, 75 plus resume accomplishment examples to improve your resume and application. Sorry about that. And this article is by Kate Grady and published on June 25th of 2024. So it's current information. And it's going to focus on the importance of including accomplishments on your resume to enhance its impact and increase your chances of securing a job. Here are some of the key points that are summarized. All right, so just to let you know, it's not just an article, it's an actual guide. So it is focusing on a lot of ways to highlight your accomplishments during an interview, on your resume, on your applications. So some of the key takeaways, resume accomplishments definition. So achievements are in the past, they're your past work, education, or relevant areas that demonstrate your skills and value. Second, they are examples and guidance. There provides over 75 examples across a variety of jobs, experience levels, and industries to guide you in crafting your own accomplishments. And then third, there's a resume builder tool that's built into this guide. The resume builder tool can help you align your accomplishments with specific job requirements very quickly. As far as content, the content overview, the importance of resume accomplishments. So these are specific and measurable achievements that demonstrate your skills and impact in previous roles. There are differences between accomplishments and job duties. Accomplishments highlight the impact and results of your work, while job duties describe the task and responsibilities. As far as your need for accomplishments, they showcase abilities, demonstrate value, highlight impact, increase hiring opportunities, help you stand out in the candidate pool, and build your confidence. As far as how many, like the number of accomplishments, ideally include 3 to 5 relevant accomplishments for each position and 2 or 3 notable achievements in your professional summary. And then as far as placement of achievements, include them in your professional summary and work experience sections. And then when you're writing accomplishments, use the CAR, challenge, action, and result method to clearly articulate the impact of your actions. Now, as far as using the CAR, I would say highlight that when you're writing your accomplishments throughout your resume applications work summary, as the article or as the guide has suggested. But if you look at the hiring process on a lot of different companies' websites, they are now starting to highlight that they want the STAR method used during the interview process. So make sure you take a look at the hiring process with whatever company that you're looking at and see what they prefer. Now, best practices for writing resume accomplishments. First, you want to be very specific and quantify. Use numbers and metrics to give concrete evidence of your achievements. You want to use action verbs. Start statements with dynamic verbs to add impact. You want to emphasize that impact by highlighting the differences your work has made. And then you want to tailor to the job description. Customize your accomplishments to align with the job requirements by leveraging the job description, incorporating relevant keywords, and quantifying results. Now, as far as examples, this guide includes numerous examples of resume accomplishments tailored for different experience levels, roles, and industries to inspire readers as they write their own accomplishments and achievement statements. Things to avoid as far as certain achievements, you want to avoid anything that's irrelevant or unquantifiable. And then you want to ensure that those accomplishments are relevant to the job that you're applying for and are quantifiable to provide tangible proof of your impact. Highlighting accomplishments with tools. Now, this particular guide was produced by Teal, and so they have a platform that offers AI technology to help generate professional summaries and highlight key achievements, making the resume building process a little bit more efficient. By following these guidelines and best practices, you can create a compelling resume that effectively showcases your value to potential employers. And then for more detailed examples and further guidance, you can refer to the article that Matt will put out later on this afternoon, or when it comes out. Just know that there are a lot of links throughout this guide. I want to highlight that you need to click on all the active links throughout the guide because it does open up to additional information and examples. And then as an FYI, I'm going to continue to be on this topic for accomplishments and achievements and how to write them all the way through August. And the reason why is I feel as though, being a recruiter myself, that it's critically important to highlight those things when you're trying to distinguish yourself between other candidates during an interview. You definitely want to have achievements so that we as in the recruiting world can see the value that you bring. And then that helps us to sell you to the hiring manager saying, hey, did you take a look at these different bullet points? Did you see the highlights of what they can bring to the organization? So that's why I'm going to stay on this topic until, like I said, toward the end of August. And then with that said, many of these guides, they are produced by a variety of different organizations like Teal and others. And so I do want to highlight the importance of the fact that Career DFW does not endorse or promote sign up with any membership, subscription, or service. We're strictly providing or sharing information produced by organizations to educate the job seeker community as a way to assist you as part of your job search strategy to find the people, information, and opportunities to land your next career. We encourage you to seek, research, and use information on your own from a variety of sources. So this is the tip of the week dated today, July the 19th, and it's 75 plus resume accomplishment examples to improve your resume and application. Have an enjoyable weekend, everybody.
Thanks, Rosina. All right. Walt.
Well, good morning, everyone. And to all our people that are present. It's good to see you here today in person. We get to do some networking here when you come and be in person. So what do I do? My name is Walt Glass. I'm retired and I offer the free interview success workshop. This workshop is a very informal learning environment. Trying to learn how to sell ourselves, how to differentiate ourselves. Well, if we learn how to sell ourselves effectively, it will result in a very positive differentiation from other candidates. So look me up on LinkedIn under the About section. The details of that is all about the workshop and how to register. You need to register to attend, send me an email to that address. And I'll give you some dates of availability. Right now, we're running about 4 weeks out. So sign up. Be glad to have you participate. And the major difference is it's not a mock interview. It is a learning interview. So put a learning hat on, or learning without scoring. So I also can introduce you. There's a QR code, by the way. If you want to send me an email, it'll start an email out to me to request the workshop. I should have told you to get your cameras ready just in case. But you can just send me an email to that Yahoo email address. I'd just like to know your phone number, your LinkedIn information, how you learn about the workshop. Critical information for me to help you. Now let's turn our attention to the Dallas Pit Crew, the practice interview team. Now the Pit Crew is different, very different than the interview success workshop. It is a mock panel interview. Well, panelists will prepare their questions through looking at your job description and your resume. If you have a particular target company involved, we do research. I'm also a panelist on the Pit Crew. But we'll prepare questions for you as if we were going to hire you. So it's a great experience for you. Every time you practice, you get better. It's one of those things that, once you do it, you say, oh, I'm so glad I did it. I got all the feedback. So we're all on your side. We're here to help you. Send your information to dallaspitcrew@gmail.com. It's also in person here, right where we are today at Christ United Methodist Church, which is near Coit and Parker. Send that in. We can get you signed up. Now, the fourth Wednesday of the month is online. That is to allow participants from outside of the DFW area to participate. And in both cases, you can come and observe. You can come and watch. We are currently registering like 3 people a week, 3 different interviews, and you can choose which one you'd like to observe. And you can also participate in the feedback as well as to what you liked and what you thought was good and what you thought might be a stumbling block or could offer some improvements. We're glad to have you participate in the Pit Crew. Now going back to the workshop, I'll do the lunch report in a second. Is job search putting us to the test? In interviews, are we appearing like all the rest? We're learning to sun ourselves with differentiation is what I suggest. Take the workshop. It can result in us being the best.
Thank you, Will.
I forget my phone on back.
All right. For those of you in the room that want to join us after for some more networking, we're headed to Jason's Deli today, just west of here on Parker. All right. As mentioned, today's guest speaker is Tony Beshara. Tony is the owner and president of Babbage and Associates, Texas' oldest recruitment firm, established in 1952. He's assisted over 10,000 individuals in securing jobs. Babbage consistently ranks among the top contingency firms and best places to work. He's interviewed over 26,000 professionals, collaborated with over 23,000 hiring authorities, contributing to over 100,000 successful job placements. Wow, that's a big number. Accomplished author, several books, co-authored 100,000 successful hires, and he frequently appears on the Dr. Phil Show and hosts the Job Search Solution Radio at KWRD FM in Dallas. All right. Tony, thank you for being with us. I've made you a co-host. Do you want to display the presentation from your end, or do you want to do it from my end?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Well,
you.
that's a step in the right direction. I could tell you because I'm technologically incompetent when it comes to this stuff. Do I punch share screen? You can do
Yeah.
it from your end. I can do share screen, and then
Yep.
we'll
Yeah, you can click on share and then choose your screen if you got more than one.
want to continue, yes. Yeah. Zoom. Share. I don't know what I'm doing.
You're halfway there. We see.
Return to meeting. What do I want to do?
You want to share a different?
Share a different screen. We're seeing your Zoom in your Chrome, your browser.
Oh, that's no good. Stop share. Okay. What do I do?
Tell you what, would you like me to display it? I have
Go ahead and display it, and I'll take it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, we can let you. Okay.
Yep, just say
All
next
right.
slot.
Yeah, next slot. We'll do this. Okay, we'll do it this way. Sorry. About how many people are on this?
You have about 30 total in the room.
Okay. All right. I've been doing this since 1973. Since I wrote this, I placed about 12,000 people on a one-on-one basis. Over the phone, when I started in this business, we delivered resumes by mail, or we had the candidate take the resume over. That was before faxes, that was before email, before anything. And I've hundreds of thousands of resumes. And what I've done here is come up with most of the 10 biggest mistakes that people make with resumes. We'll go over these mistakes, and I'll entertain any questions that everybody might have regarding resumes, because Lord knows I probably receive 100 resumes a day. I probably use at least 60 to 70 resumes a day. I'm on the phone 4 to 5 hours a day, making 100 to 110 calls a day, and I'm on the phone. And so I pretty much know what works and what doesn't. And most people, well, I'll go over the mistakes. Go ahead and go to the first one.
Before we move on, question, do you look at all those resumes yourself, or do you
Yeah.
use an ATS system to
No,
help?
no, I look at all of them myself. I don't
Really?
look at them. Well, I don't read them. And one of the things that's going to come up in this is that resumes, probably the biggest mistake that people make is they think that a resume gets read. A resume does not get read. A
Okay.
resume gets scanned. People that are looking at a resume scan it, and they look for what if they're doing it online, they do it differently than they do it in their hand. If they do it online, they start in the middle of the page. Studies have shown that when people look at things online, they start in the middle of the page, they move to the left, they go up the left-hand side of the page, and they look at the top. They look for keywords, they look for things that they can identify with. Who knows what they look for? But they scan it, they don't read it. If they if they see something they like, they'll either print it out or they might read part of it. But they're not reading your resume, they're scanning it. And what's important to be sure of is that they have things on there that are going to draw their attention. I'll mention that in most of these things. But the biggest mistake that most people make is they think people read their resume. These people that are getting resumes are getting, like me, 100 of them a day. If they don't like the color of what they see, they'll move on to the next one. If they don't like the color of the paper, they'll move on to the next one. If you got some kind of funny, goofy script on it or something to give them a reason to pass on it, to move on, they're looking for just as many reasons not to consider it as they are reasons to consider it. So they're moving really fast, and they're not reading everything you're writing.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, I already went over this. So we go on to the next one. We can go over that. And we did that one too. So, okay. People overestimate the value of a resume. As I mentioned, it gets scanned. People think this is going to get me a job. It's not going to get you a job. It may get you an interview. You're going to get the job, but it may get you into the door, but it's not going to, it's totally overevaluated. I get asked at least 5 or 6 times a day, what's wrong with my resume? Frankly speaking, there might be a lot wrong with your resume, but that's not the reason that you're not getting interviews. The reason you're not getting interviews is there are hordes of people looking for work, and you have no idea how stiff the competition is. And I must admit that if the only way that you're trying to get an interview is by sending a resume online to somebody you don't know, or to an organization you don't know, or you're not aware of, or you don't have a contact in, it's the lowest level of being able to get an interview. I admit you're stuck with it, but it's the poorest way to try to get it. And just because you send them a resume and you get the resume in front of them doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to get an interview. And it's not the resume's fault. It's that there are hordes of people applying. You can go to next. The average resume, and I say gets read, gets scanned in 10 seconds. If your resume doesn't grab them in 10 seconds, then it's not going to get there, because think about it. You got a stack of 110, 130 or you got online, you're looking at how many things you got in your inbox, resumes you got in your inbox. You got 100 of them. You're going through those things so fast, you can't see straight. And so if whatever you're sending them doesn't grab them, then and isn't pertinent to exactly what they are looking for, and I mean right what they're looking for, it's not gonna get parsed out. It's not going to get separated out. So look at your own resume. If it doesn't grab you in 10 seconds, or give it to your friends or people in the group there, if it doesn't grab you in 10 seconds, I got a resume yesterday. I mean, this old boy, he went from one corner of the paper, one corner of the page, all the way across. It was in blue and then it was in green. It was all the way from the top to all the way to the bottom, and it was full of nothing but words. I don't know what he was saying, and I wasn't going to read it because it would take too damn long. I wasn't going to do it. He might have been the best thing since sliced bread, but I wasn't going to. It was just too much. I had too much going on. Frankly, a couple of things looked pretty interesting. I called the guy up and I said, tell me in 10 words what this thing says. And he actually did, and it was pretty good. I told him he had to rewrite it, and I told him go figure out how to rewrite it so that somebody can look at it in 10 seconds and figure out how to do it, and figure out what he might be able to do for them in 10 seconds. People grossly underestimate the number of resumes. I know that LinkedIn does tell, I don't look at it, but it does tell, it tells people how many resumes have applied to the job, does it not?
It does.
It does. Okay. So I had a guy tell me yesterday that in the first 10 minutes of him applying to a resume, 35 people have applied to it. And he was a fairly narrow person. So this isn't a mystery much anymore. But when you see that 100 people have applied to the job and have sent resumes, you know that you're most likely what you've got has fairly much been lost. And unless you have a personal contact in the organization, which I'll get to in a few minutes about how you might go about doing that, you're just, you're almost whipped before you begin. Let me ask, how many of you all have experienced that, and what has been your experience in this?
If you want to talk, you need the microphone.
Oh.
Need the microphone so you can talk.
We're passing the microphone around in here.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. Is that not convenient?
Here we go. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I just recently applied for a job. This was with AWS, and I actually went the path because I know one of my former managers is working for this company. So I basically had her starting an internal referral, and I think that was the only reason I actually got to a stage of an interview.
Now you're talking.
Actually has posted that position right now through various cities. It's the same position. It's a kind of a hybrid. You can work from all over the US. And whenever I look at all the positions set on LinkedIn, some of them has over 100 applicants. The other one is over 80. So we're talking about, I've been probably one out of, I guess, maybe 500, 600, 700. And I went to 2 stages of the interview, and that's where it ended. But it's more like, I think, like you said before, if you just apply blindly on LinkedIn, it's probably not going anywhere. It's going probably somewhere in a black hole. And I'm pretty much sure the only way I got to at least an interview, I look at it as just a practice session, was more like because I was able to have an internal referral.
Just don't have a lot of hopes. That's all.
I know. Yeah, exactly.
Now, what you did, where you really made an absolute revelation is that you got to know somebody in the place.
Yeah.
Even if you have to cold call them and figure out who you might be cold calling, who you might be talking to, who this job might report to, and figure somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody, figure it out by talking to them that way and by picking up the phone and trying to call them and making an inroad that way. That's better than just plain old sending the resume off, because that's just tough. They're getting so many resumes that it's not likely that you're going to get a lot of attention. They're getting hordes of them. You can go to the next one.
We have another question for you, Tony.
Oh, sure.
Oh, I was just going to comment on LinkedIn. I look at the, especially if you're in a tech field or the digital space, the idea of remote versus in the DFW area used to still be a viable option. And I look at it as it's still a numbers game, and I realize it's the lowest form of job searching. And in my experience so far, over the last 2 months, maybe 60 targeted submissions, and one interview, especially when you're looking for a higher level position. And part of the challenge is also even with your finding a hiring manager for any particular roles in the time that it takes you to potentially find that targeted individual, the time from a posting, or even if you're looking for something that hasn't been posted yet, it's still a challenge to find arbitrarily who that hiring person is. And the tip I would give is trying to find somebody inside an organization that would send your resume and just say, this is a good person to keep in mind, is the HR person, to the extent you can find that individual. And that's kind of one of the angles I'm trying to use right now. So for what it's worth, it's my experience.
Yeah, that's a good observation. It's tough. It's just really hard. And it's hard to find out who the hiring managers actually are. And you can spend a lot of time in voicemail going around companies doing that. But it's really hard to do. It's sometimes just a really big black hole.
I was going to add another comment. There is my experience is you need to have contacts like that we've been saying in your target companies before a job gets posted. If you by the time something gets posted, you start going around your career group trying to find a connection, it could take a month or more to get that connection to actually call you, like have a conversation. It's too late. So you really need to know who you're targeting and develop those connections, almost any connections, like any connection. Like even I was looking at a large hospital system, even a nurse, on the floor can tell you what her experience is and, possibly pass along the resume. So.
Yeah, any way you can do it other than just simply forwarding a resume to HR is a positive way to do things,
I would say I've submitted a lot of resumes blindly. I've gotten 0 responses.
Yeah.
Had 2 referrals and I'm 50% on getting resume or interview.
Yeah.
That's a fact. You have to have somebody present you.
60% of jobs, 60% of jobs are found through people somebody knows. That's been a fact. That's been a statistic since I got in this business in 1973. That the majority of jobs are found through people people you have contact with. They're not found through recruiters. Recruiters, we fill, it used to be about 15%. We fill now about 25 to maybe 30% of the positions that are out there because of the contacts that we have. And that's getting a little more but 60% are people that you know. In fact, it's another discussion, but I don't think people take advantage of how their friends, their family, and people that they know as much as they should by calling them every month or two and finding out who they might know, who they might know, who they might know when they need a job, and knowing that that's going to, sometimes you call them the third time and they all of a sudden remember that there's an opening at their place of business that fits you. They just don't think of it. And that's the way most of them, most positions get filled. Most people overestimate the qualifications of the people that will screen and read and pass the resume along. Oh boy, we had a, this was years ago, but we were trying to fill a controller job, and the CEO of a company, it was a smaller company, but he had his daughter screening resumes and interviewing people. She was home from college over Christmas break, and she was screening resumes and interviewing candidates for the position. And most people don't realize that there's a lot of people, I wouldn't say the vast majority, but there's a lot of people that are screening resumes and looking at resumes that don't have any idea what the hell they're looking at. They don't have any idea. They get a few words, ideas from the hiring manager, and the hiring manager says, look for this, look for that, look for this. And they go look for it, and they don't have any idea what they're looking for. And it's a guessing game. There's nothing you can do about it. But when I have to work through HR as a recruiter, it's a secondary search. We try to work through hiring authorities directly. And when we have to work through HR department, we normally don't give it as much attention unless we know that the person in the recruiting department really knows what they're doing. And there are lots of them that do. Don't get me wrong. There are lots of them that do. There's some that have been around longer than the CEOs of the companies. But there's a whole lot of them that have no idea what they're looking for. And because hiring is a pain in the butt and nobody really likes doing it, even managers, high-end managers will slough off the responsibility of initial screening of candidates to somebody that may not know what they're doing, and they don't know. They don't even know who's doing it. This is another subject. I'll divert it a little minute, but it's rare for managers to be hired in any company as one of the criterion that should be one of the first criterion. It's very rare for a criterion to be how well have you hired in the past? How well have you managed people in the past? What's been your track record of hiring? Very few people get hired because of their ability to hire. And yet it's one of the most important things that we do. Nobody likes doing it very well. And the reason they don't like doing it very well is that when they make a mistake, everybody in the world can see it. If you're an engineer and you make a mistake on drawings or that kind of thing, you can go in the computer and you can erase it and you can change it and nobody knows it. If you make a mistake in your accounting software, it used to be erasure would do it, but you can change it and nobody knows it. But when you make a mistake in hiring, everybody in the whole company knows it. So people don't like doing it. So that's why it takes so long to get people hired. That's why so many hiring is such a hard thing to do. And so when the initial aspect of looking of who we ought to interview comes up, hiring authorities don't take responsibility for it. They pass it off to somebody else. And then they complain. We hear it all the time. I never get anybody right from our HR department. I don't know what's wrong. Well, I know what's wrong. You're in your own way. And so it's a circular problem that happens in all companies from the CEO all the way down. So they hire lots of people that supposedly screen candidates that don't know what they're looking for. Go to the next one. Oh yeah. People write the wrong content. The lady before me, I've forgotten her name because I had to run in the men's room, but she made a good point. The content on resumes that I see is just awful. I don't know whether this is just lately or maybe I'm just getting old and I see it more. I'm amazed the number of resumes that I get that people don't tell me what the companies do. They don't tell me what their companies do. They write this gobbledygook. If I hadn't been here since 1973 for more than 50 years, and I didn't know a lot of these companies, I wouldn't know what they did. Now, who in the hell is going to read a resume or even look at a resume if they can't tell what the company does, let alone what you did at the company?
So we're recommending on the resume, if it's not Exxon or somebody that you know, put a little blurb.
Oh yeah,
manufacturing company based in Charlotte, North Carolina, or something.
Yeah, and even if it's Exxon, you got to put down in parentheses or something what division of Exxon it was and exactly what they do. Just because it's Oracle, my God, Oracle's got 500 divisions, I guess.
That's
and
true.
you got to tell me what they did, what that group did, and what you did there. And it's got to hit me in the face. If I can't tell quickly by scanning it and looking quickly, then I'm going to move on. And it's just been, I can't tell you the number of times per week I have to call somebody and the resume looks fairly good, but I got to say, what the hell does your company do and what do you do there? I know you do. I handle salespeople, so most of the time they're sales folks. So it's that. But what does your company do? And they say, "Oh, okay." And just because you know what they do doesn't mean that there are 377,000 companies in the United States. Come on, right? Just write down what they do. So put the right content in there, what they did, what you did there, how well you did it, who you did it for, what that company does, what you did there, and how well you did it. That's all anybody cares about. That's it. Simple. Real simple. 4 things. And make it so clear that a high school senior could understand it. That's it. That's simple. And the lady mentioned it earlier, that numbers sell. I recommend numbers, bold the numbers, stories sell and numbers tell. It's good to have numbers on there. If you're in the kind of job that has numbers, it's good to put numbers in there and be able to communicate numbers in bold letters. We can go to the next one. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, we got a question for you. Hold on.
Sure.
So I know if you're just blindly submitting a resume, you're fighting the ATS system, right?
Oh yeah.
I guarantee you those are all driven by AI. And one thing that you can do is take the job description and your resume and run it through ChatGPT and tell it to compare the two, and it'll give you this phenomenal output about things that you lack in your resume.
Yes.
Don't tie back to the job description. I'm going to start doing that every Monday and start submitting resumes if I have to do it blindly. But I just thought I'd share that, and I'll be happy to help anybody in that space.
Yeah, that's easy to do. And I've known lots of candidates that do that. And you know, hopefully it helps better. Um, uh, you know, it's it's a black hole still. It's real hard, but it's better to do that than what people normally do.
I would
Hey,
just add from a privacy perspective, the black hole of AI dumping any of your personal information in that particular example could be, I won't say dangerous, but something to be wary of, because you're giving away all of your personal information, and it's going to be there for posterity. So that you don't own your own information anymore. Maybe you don't do it anyway, but it's just something to be aware of. You don't want to go putting your home address and phone number and email into a chat GPT tool.
yeah,
I would just look into that further, because there's a fine line between rewriting information to improve it versus personal information.
Yeah, you can turn that off, by the way, in your personal settings in ChatGPT account. If you click on your profile, you can turn off their ability to use your results to improve the engine. It will negate your history, obviously, but small price to pay for a little sanity when it comes to protecting your personal information.
I would not rely on it writing your resume for you. Don't do that. Write your own resume, but take the suggestions it provides to improve your resume and tie it back to the job description.
yeah. My experience with ChatGPT is that it lies. If you put in Tony Beshara into ChatGPT, it's wonderful, but it's not true. And but I take the information, some of the information, the way it presents the information isn't so bad. I think the jury's still out on how that's going to affect a lot of us. I don't really know. It really remains to be seen. And anybody that has any comments about anything that I've got here, just don't hesitate to jump right in, because this is meant to help everybody. And if anybody has comments about it, right, don't hesitate to jump right in. So, but make sure you keep it simple about what you write on the resume. What your company does, what you did in the company, and how well you did it. That's all anybody wants to know. If they want to know more than that, they're going to call you in for an interview. It's that simple. You can go to the next one. Oh, ugh. Resume formats. Jesus, the junk in this stuff is just awful. I don't know where people get these ideas. Keep it simple, man. Just really simple. Just your name and address and phone number at the top of the thing, so that people can get no ribbons down the side of it, no colors, no flowers, no puppy dogs, no junk like that. Just your name, your LinkedIn profile, your phone number, how they can get a hold of you. I don't like summaries. I don't like objectives. Nobody cares about your objective. They care about their objective. And just, it's who you worked for, what you did, and how long you were there. That's it. Simple. And make it clear as it can be. And and spread out enough to where it can be scanned and then leave it alone and move on to the next one. Anybody have any thoughts on that?
I've heard that a lot. I agree.
Simple
The
enough.
fancier you get, the less likely it's going to make it to the ATS.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, let me get rid of this.
Yeah,
We have a
Tony,
question.
sorry to interrupt you. Hey, Tony.
Regarding.
Yeah, I was listening. Could you please give me some example that how, the resume should look like, that this is what I did in my last role and what the company does in a short example? Do you have anything?
Yeah, real simple. XYZ company, they manufacture, comma, or dash, manufactures pallets. 33-year-old company that manufactures pallets. Then under that, manufacturing engineer. Oh, and then next to that, 1973 to present. And under that, manufacturing engineer supervised 45 people in manufacturing environment that was responsible for $10 million worth of pallets on a daily basis.
Got you.
That's
So
it.
what the company does first,
Well,
then
yes.
what was my contribution over there?
Yeah, and then
How
the dates that you were there over to the right
Mhm.
in bold, and then what your title was, and if it's, and oh yeah, as far as title goes, if it's some cockamamie stupid title that doesn't, chief happiness officer or something stupid, change it for God's sakes. Make it something common that everybody understands.
Oh, so we can change the job
Oh
title
yeah.
as
Oh
well,
yeah.
that's what you said?
I change titles
If it
all the
doesn't
time.
match, if it doesn't match with my LinkedIn profile, will that be a problem?
No, nobody.
I see.
No, nobody. You got to make it, well, you judge, but make it so that everybody understands what you're doing. If you've got some cockamamie stupid title that nobody understands what it is, they'll look at the title and they'll think, I'm not looking for that. You know, and then they, I know lots of firms in sales, they make everybody a vice president. Just to get them in the door. Well, that's not a,
Yeah, same with the bank. Same
yeah,
thing. Vice
that,
versa.
and
100%.
now whoever is looking at that resume might very well understand that, but if it's far off in left field, don't do it. Change the title so that I had a lady yesterday that her job was business development rep. Well, most BDRs are inside salespeople that make appointments for outside salespeople. She'd been there 10 years. She was an absolute wicked producer. She was a salesperson. I had her change it just salesperson. She said, can I do that? I said, well, if you don't, I will, because they're going to look at that BDR and think BDR. I'm looking for a salesperson, not a BDR. So yeah, I change it to make it, don't let it be distracting. I gotta get rid of this thing here.
Okay, thank you.
Tony, could you comment on one versus two-page resumes, especially when you had more executive roles or more technical positions that require some level of explanation?
Yeah, I think 2 pages is fine. I don't, I kind of expect if you've been in the workforce 15 or more than 15 years, you're probably going to have 2 pages. I can even live with probably 3 pages. But because I'm scanning it, but by the time I get to the 3rd page, I've decided people are going to decide whether or not they're going to interview you in the first page and a half anyhow. They're not likely gonna go back much further than that to decide whether or not they're going to interview you. So I don't think it matters that much. And when you get to 5-6 pages, we got one in here the other day that was 15. That's probably a bit much, but you know, again, you're going to decide whether or not they're going to interview the person in the first 2 pages anyhow, what they've been doing most recently.
William, you have a question?
Yes, Tony, thank you very much for all this insight.
Sure.
No, when you have more than one page, how should you staple them together when you go to job fairs, for instance? Should you staple them with your business card, go front to back, or just hand 2 pages, worrying that one of them will get separated?
I'd staple them, put them together.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to make that much difference.
All right.
You know, because you're gonna if you're face to face with them, then you know you're gonna try to make an impression face to face more than anything else. You know, that's what's going to do it. How about the next? This box keeps coming up on my thing. Oh, cover letters, cover up. I'm not a big fan of cover letters. I wrote a book on resumes about 15 years ago. It's old now, but I did research with about 2,300 employers that we worked with, and it turned out that everybody, the majority of people didn't read the cover letter unless they liked the resume. So they read the resume, and if they liked the resume, they read the cover letter. So if you're going to write now, a cover email might be a little different. And I sometimes send an email along with the resume, and I summarize the candidate, but I don't do any more than 2 or 3 bullet points, and that's about it. And I make the candidate spectacular. But other than that, a cover letter, now other people say they're really good and they really like them and it really makes a difference. And if it does make a difference to you, that's fine. I think most people are going to end up looking at the resume first anyhow. And if you send your resume via email, then they're going to look at the email that goes with it. I suggest that you might write a summary there, but add bullet points that relate to the job. This is why you ought to consider me 1, 2, 3, but make them short and make them to the point, and don't make it real long. Does anybody have any thoughts on that they found that's worked well?
Nothing here.
Okay, that's fine. We can move on to the next one. Oh yeah. Don't laugh. At least once a week, I get a candidate whose LinkedIn profile doesn't agree with their resume. And that's the first thing that an employer is going to tell me. LinkedIn profile doesn't agree with the resume. And then they eliminate the candidate. Please. I have a candidate that literally showed up at a job, and he found out that the company was going broke. They didn't tell him that. He's been there 3 weeks. He put it on his LinkedIn profile, but he didn't put it on his resume. And although I tried to explain this to a couple of prospective employers, one prospective employer didn't buy it. Now, that's short-sighted. and you can say that's stupid, and I can say it's stupid too, but he short-sighted and he didn't buy it. So make sure it agrees with the LinkedIn profile. Most people don't want to ever admit that they don't that doesn't happen, but they do. So just be careful of that.
The companies, I would add that potential employers used to do background checks.
Yes.
Automate the process of comparing your resume to your LinkedIn. And my last employer actually shared that report with me because they told me the same thing. There was a discrepancy. I said, oh, what was it? Oh, I'll send you the report. The discrepancy was the end date of a job was off by 2 months because on one of them, I put my actual end date and the other one, I put the end of my severance and I just forgot. And so I explained it. Oh, one was the actual end date, one was severance end date. Oh, okay, no problem. But it's that granular, it's that precise. So,
and that's very unfortunate, but
should be your actual termination date, not
yeah.
your severance end date.
Yeah, that's
is
reality.
Your recruiter, yeah.
Yeah.
So I got around it, but just word of the wise, I make sure that every detail matches exactly.
Yeah, yeah, really good.
Hey, Tony,
Anybody? Yes.
Regarding LinkedIn, I read, this is a couple weeks ago, this article popped up on LinkedIn, and now I can't find the damn thing. But for those of us in the room who got grayer hair and been out in the workforce for a while, do you recommend taking off the early portion of your career and only having it, say, for maybe just your 20 years on LinkedIn, or should you?
Yeah, 15 or 20 years. Yeah.
And so below that, after that, just really just take that on off, not to look like you're, ancient.
Yeah. They're going to find out how old you are anyhow. I think the worst thing you can do is not put your picture on there. LinkedIn is a whole nother discussion, but I'll address a couple things. Put a professional picture on there. Don't put a picture of you and your kids fishing and stuff like that, playing golf and stuff like that. That's not good. A professional picture. I know some guys that put on their professional picture 20 years ago. I admire the ingenuity of doing that, but they're going to find out how old you are anyhow. I don't recommend going back much further than 15, maybe 20 years. Again, they're going to find that out. There's not as much discrimination in age these days as people think there is. We don't hear that as much as we used to. That's the reason. The reason that is because us boomers are older and we don't want to discriminate, and we don't care as much. And so, but everybody's sensitive to it. And if you're older, I'm 76. If you're older, then you have a tendency to think that they're discriminating against me because of my age. And that may not be it at all. It may be that you're just not qualified. But rather than look, with LinkedIn and with a resume, you're trying to sell an interview, right? I'm trying to sell, not hire me. I'm trying to sell, get me in front of them, and then I'll take care of it after that. The criterion that they hire me for after I'm in front of them is totally different than the resume or the LinkedIn or anything like that. And I've got to realize that. But yeah, for the most part, I do that. I wouldn't, I wouldn't go overboard. I wouldn't try to sell the whole enchilada.
That's great. Thanks. When I originally, when LinkedIn first came on out, you put basically a life story on it. Now that I'm, getting all the messages from every Medicaid salesman in the world these days.
Yeah.
Like time to take part of that.
Yeah.
But thank you very much.
All of these things change after, after a number of years. They just do. They just do. Okay, that's the next one. Oh, yeah. Mistake, one size fits all. Don't. This used to be a bigger deal than it is, but now we have electronics. Duh, you can customize your resume to fit most any job. So customize it as best you can without lying, and try to make it fit Chat GPT. All, but I still get candidates. They get tired of trying to uh, uh, trying to do that, and they send me the same. They'll send me for a sales job. They'll send me an executive VP job or resume, and mess it up. So, and people don't want to consider that, and so then so customize it, make it. It's a pain in the neck, especially when you're sending a lot of resumes. It's a pain in the neck, but that's the way you got to do it.
How do you get around customizing your resume, but keeping it in sync with LinkedIn?
I know people that change to LinkedIn daily, weekly, that kind of thing. It's probably a shame that they have to do that, but it's delicately.
Thank you.
It's not easy. Hey, looking for a job is a lot harder than it used to be. It used to be, the only thing you had to worry about was getting the address right and have enough stamps on the envelope. I mean, and now the world's a whole lot different, a whole lot different. What's the next one? Oh, yeah, length, we discussed that. Objective, I don't recommend that. Summaries, I don't make sure your dates are correct. A lot of people will argue that don't put months on it, just put years. I don't know. I don't think people are as sensitive to that as they used to be, but you can put down years and it can look like it's 2 years and it can really only be 1. Whereas if you put down months, you can, it's got reality. I don't hear employers being as concerned about that anymore as they used to. Employers are concerned about number of jobs. They've always been concerned about number of jobs ever since I got in this business. Unfortunately, for what it's worth, I remind employers all the time, when I got in this business, the average job in the United States, the average company in the United States was 59 years old. In 2016, the average company in the United States was 15 years old. Companies come and go faster than they ever have before. So therefore, jobs come and go faster than than they ever have before. The average job in the United States only lasts 2.5 years. It's not because candidates and employees are so crazy, they just leave jobs by the minute. It's because these companies come and go. Technology has outrun lots of things, and companies can come and go faster than they ever have. I had a guy tell me yesterday, don't send me anybody that hasn't been in their last job for 5 years. I started to argue with him. I didn't get anywhere. No, he said, you can think the way you want to think, but don't send me anybody that hadn't been in their last job 5 years. So that's what I'm gonna do. That's what he's paying me for. He's looking for a CRO, and he didn't want anybody that's been in the last job less than 5 years. So that's what we're gonna do. Is it unfair? Yeah, probably in some cases. He may be right, but it's been a bugaboo since I got in this business. But it's, you know, it's a tough one. It's not easy. There are explanations. Sometimes they're not explanations. Sometimes the explanations are lousy, but sometimes the explanations are really good. Like my company went away. You can't be responsible for your company going away. You know, basic things like that, you just need to be as careful of as you possibly can.
What kind of title mistake on your slide?
Oh,
could
yeah.
you make? We said we can change it.
Yeah.
But give me an example. What do you mean by title mistake?
Grand poobah when you were a salesman. And, you know,
Chief Happiness Officer.
Yeah, Chief Happiness Officer. Something stupid that makes you look like the executive vice president of the Western world. And they look at it and think he wouldn't be happy in this job. And, you know, he or she wouldn't be happy in this job. So, you know, at least once or twice a week, I have a candidate change their title to just plain old what it is, sales, or if it's right thing, sales manager or something like that. But don't, and inevitably candidates come back and say, well, that's what it was. Well, I don't care that's what it was. It's going to eliminate you from being considered, and you don't want that. You want to get in the door, and that's not going to get you in the door. So change your title to fit whatever you do.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Sure. Any other questions? Or comments? Oh yeah, the wrong resume strategy. The biggest mistake with the resume strategy is this resume is going to get me a job. And that's just unfortunate. And sending it to everybody and their brother in the world, that's a good idea to do, but just sending it, like I mentioned in the beginning somewhere, that sending a resume to a blind, well, it used to be P.O. box. They don't do that anymore, but to something where you don't have a contact or you don't know somebody or something like that is the lowest form of probability. And hoping and praying and spray and pray is what we call it. It's just, you know, the odds aren't very good. I recommend trying to find a contact in a operation where you can call somebody and try to get them to help support you. One nice thing that LinkedIn does, it gives you lots of contacts, and you can get contacts who have contacts who have contacts and that kind of thing, and try to get your resume in the hands of those people. And the biggest mistake in the strategy is putting too much hopes in the value of a resume. You got to have one. I have some clients that simply use LinkedIn. I had a guy yesterday, he said, don't mess with the resume, just send me his LinkedIn profile. Send me her LinkedIn profile. That was pretty good. And so we have companies that are using that as what they look at. And so that's becoming more prevalent, but still got to have a resume and still have to write it right.
Okay. In the chat, Lauren wants to know if you have any thoughts on listing contract or temporary jobs on a resume. separate each position or combine them in a single section?
You can combine them in a single section, just delineate them and put in parentheses they were contract, especially if they relate to the job that you're applying to. Employers aren't as finicky about contract positions as they used to be. They didn't like to hire contract people for fear that they will leave their job and go do a contract one. But, you know, most of us realize that life is a contract. You know, life is temporary and jobs are temporary and everything's temporary. But you could put under the heading of contract jobs and put the dates and just list the contract jobs. Some people actually like them because you get a lot of variety and a lot of different kinds of different variety of expertise doing that. So it doesn't hurt. It's not as much of a detriment as it used to be.
All right.
Any other questions? Oh, my job search solution program is a 40-hour online program about how to find a job. It's got about everything I ever learned since 1973, and it's available. And we actually give it to our candidates here, and we welcome candidates. Our organization places everything but healthcare. So we're sales engineers, banking, we do just about everything. Our average recruiter's been here about 16 years too, so we keep people a really long time.
Wow. That's awesome.
So some of us.
I've got a real old resume that I'd like to just flash on the screen and tell me what you think of it after 5 or 6 seconds.
Sure.
Yeah, why don't we do that? That's pretty old.
That's okay.
So let me share the screen. I left off the information at the top.
You don't need achievements. Things like visionary leader and client value driven and all of that, leadership developer, I don't know. That's nice, but you know, I mean, leadership developer, I don't know what's that mean. Now, maybe directed a $30 million client account with 25% profitability, but I'd put that under the company that you worked for, and I bold that. I had a guy one time that sent me a resume. He had in that achievements thing, he had #1 salesman in the United States. Well, that's wonderful, but it happened to be 15 years ago. So I put your name and email address and phone number and all that stuff at the top. Oh, there it is. Sorry. Yeah, that's fine. And the title of what you're looking for is fine. I get rid of achievements. I just put professional experience to the top. I bold 2001 to 2002. And then you got in there Power Plus Systems. At least you tell people what you did or what the company did. And then now you don't have in there what you did there. What'd you do there?
I was a consultant, basically.
Okay. And then I put under that, I'd put next to it or somewhere consultant, 2001, 2002, and then delivered rapid business requirements. facilitated over 24 30 to 20-day requirements discovery. I'd try if you can to get some kind of economic or number production, increased profits, increased something,
Yep, I'm with that all the way. I know this is too old for that. I think the only thing I got going for me is the description of the companies.
Well, if that's all you got going for you, then that's all you got going for you.
Well, anyway, it's just, it's a good thing I'm not looking for a job because I wouldn't use this.
Well, you do the best you can with it.
Anyway, that's just a thought of, it got you to read it.
Yeah, no, actually the format's pretty good. And I'd add performance in the professional experience and numbers. You date yourself a little bit of working for Ross Perot, but that's okay.
Yeah, I would meet Ross in the elevator frequently. He would say, "Up, please."
Yeah. That's actually it's pretty good. You got some numbers in there. I'd bold the numbers, make them dark black.
I would put more numbers in these paragraphs, making sure.
But other than that, that's pretty good. It's about what you get.
Just to see if it would attract attention for you to read more or something. My initial impression, the content is too old. So
well, and you want people to pick up the phone and call you and bring you in for an interview.
yeah, there's a guy named Jack Bick. Some people know Jack, and he says, just do the one-page resume, calls it the selling resume. What can you do for them? Basically, I outline what you said, the essential elements and the basics in it. And so one guy did that, and he said, he came back and said, Jack, it's not working. He said, what's that? So, well, they're calling me and asking for more information. Well, what's not working?
Well, yeah, that's right.
You got a phone call. Right. Anyway, thanks.
Very good.
We have another question over here.
I'll get it in mic from someone else. Thanks for meeting me halfway. You're on the ball.
Of course I am. Trying to get where you can actually see me. Sorry. If you're completely changing careers, which is what I'm doing, should I start putting my experience, my work experience further down on my resume and start with skills or something else?
Yeah, you can try that. Changing careers is really hard. It's just really hard. And 9 out of 10 times, you're going to change careers by doing it through someone you know. Most employers are going to hire like kind. They're going to hire people with experience in what they do. Why? Because they can measure it. And they're going to shy away from people that don't have experience in what they do. 5% of the companies out there will hire people without experience in what they do because they can't find experience in what they do. So that's really hard. That's where you got to network your rear end off. The probability of you getting a job by not networking or not knowing somebody or that kind of thing, it is pretty much slim and none.
Then it's a good thing I talk to everybody I see.
Now that's
whether they want to be talked to or not.
That's right. That's right.
And
that's right.
You have an accounting background, and you're as bubbly as they come, and energetic.
Kiss every frog in the pond.
I had a comment and a question. So I've been at this for a few months, and I think I look at my friends here and those online, you all know we attend a lot of the same session. What I thought was really good, even in the resume that Walt demonstrated, the summary and the accomplishments. I can keep that in the about section on LinkedIn, but I can probably remove it off my resume to give me more space, just as a thought, because the about section is different than professional experience. So for those of you that are contemplating, as I have, that was my aha moment. Here's my question for you, Tony. I've been out a few months and I'm doing a lot of volunteer work, some of which could be related to the jobs I'm looking for. How do you feel about putting that at the top of my quote unquote professional experience?
Yeah, you can do that. It doesn't hurt. Uh, I knew a guy one time that got a job by volunteering at Habitat for Humanity. And, one of the guys that he was volunteering with hired him as a controller because he just liked him. So don't forget to ask everybody that you're volunteering with if they know anybody looking for an employee. So, but it doesn't hurt to do that.
Then my last question is a follow-up. Would you be willing to look at a resume if we sent it to you? And if
Oh
you-
yeah. Oh yeah. We never,
What?
we have no idea what we'll need. We never know. Now, we don't respond to every one of them because there are 20 of us here and we get, well, I get 100 a day because I've been doing this for 50 years, but most of my associates don't. But oh yeah, we won't respond to all of them, but yeah, we'll look at all of them. We never know. We get the weirdest, we get stuff you would never imagine. We never know what the hell we're going to get.
For both you and us, if I sent your resume, would I give you a cover email and say, hey, Tony, this is Jama, give you a
Sure.
couple of my points, and would you then take the resume and store it in your database? Is that how that works?
Yeah. If I feel like I'd eventually need it, I'd send you a registration form to put it in our database and have
Okay.
you sign up, and then I placed a guy the other day that registered with me 25 years ago. You know how many interviews I got him in 25 years? 2. One of them 25 years ago, and one of them 2 weeks ago. We never really know. He's kept up with me, and I've kept up with him, and I call him when I needed him, and he didn't need me, and he called me when he needed me, and I didn't need him, and we just never know. Ours is a numbers game. It's just numbers. It's just we're constantly using numbers, and we're volumes of people, and we have no idea what we're going to need.
Great. Thanks, Tony.
Sure.
One more on this end.
Sure.
Just a brief comment for the gentleman asking about a 2-page resume earlier on and stapling it. And this was a tip I heard from somebody else. It's not my original thought. But put those contact details on the top of every page. The email and your phone number. If somebody gets the second page and they see something interesting, they can call you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Anyone else have a question or comment? Oh, here we go.
It kind of goes back to your point you made earlier about on LinkedIn, you have I've been doing IT stuff for 29 years. So, I go all the way back to EDS. I worked at EDS as well. But so my question is that a problem to have that on your resume as additional relevant experience and just put the company? And then on LinkedIn, also have that there because that could be something you have in common with somebody that's looking at your resume.
Yeah, I don't think it makes any difference. I don't think anybody's not going to interview you or going to interview you, not going to interview for one reason or for that reason or not that reason. if they're not old enough to know who EDS is, it doesn't make a difference. If they are old enough to know who EDS is, then they're going to know that you probably got some pretty good training there. So, you know,
I resemble that remark.
Fred. Fred Jobless. All right. Anybody else? Anybody online have a question?
I don't.
All right. Tony, thank you very much.
thank you all very much. I've got a perfect timing. I've got 11:30 appointment. I
That was
really appreciate it.
fantastic information.
Anytime. I really appreciate you all, and I appreciate you picking up the ball for us all, and for Jeff, and it's really good. You all give him my regards, will you?
Absolutely.
Okay,
I'm
thank you.
told I have permission to send out your PowerPoint. Is that correct?
Sure. Oh yeah, absolutely.
For
Absolutely.
those in the room and online, make sure I have your email address. We only send the materials to the attendees. So if you're in the room, sign up on the sign up sheet. If you're in the chat, include your email address in your bio.
Good luck, everybody.
In during your session today, in the about section for Tony, there's a list of books. So I went to ChatGPT and said list books that Tony Beshara has published and where you can buy them. And I jumped that result into the windows that I finished it. I also have his ACing the interview book, if you'd like to look at it, see if it's worth purchasing for yourself. You know, that would be available to do.
All right. Just a reminder that careerdfw.org is your one-stop shop for everything for job seekers in this area, and outside the DFW area, careerusa.org. If you go to careerusa or dfw.org, click on the calendar and agenda view. Actually, this is the calendar view. You'll get something that looks like this. I personally like the agenda view. I go there every Sunday night, look at everything that's coming up and plan my week. Oh, there's the agenda view. All right. And if you go to YouTube and the Career USA channel, up till about February, when Jeff had his accident, everything that Jeff did was recorded and uploaded to the channel. And we have been recording some of these. I recently got the credentials to upload. I'll play with that this weekend, let you know if I'm successful. So James is excited. And yeah. All right, coming up on Tuesday, Locke Alderson will be joining us for LinkedIn Tuesday at 1 p.m. Central. So check that out. The link again is at careerdfw.org. On Wednesday, the practice interview team is online, right?
So
online only?
I'll have to,
Yeah,
I think it's online.
it is. I believe that's the fourth Wednesday, so it's online only this next week. Again, link is available, and we send out a email with the weekly summary of everything that's coming up. The link will be in that as well. And then, of course, you can join us next Friday right here. Coming up next Friday, we've got personal branding with Don Nabin. Thank you. Week after that is open forum. Week after that, our own Walt Glass will be talking about analyzing the job description. You want to say anything about that? What does that mean? Analyzing the job description.
Oh, the question is what does the job description tell us? What information can we glean from that? So I break it down. It has culture indicators in it. It has, you know, fast-paced environments. Okay, that has two definitions. One is utter chaos.
True.
Okay, anyway, it's that.
All right, we'll look forward to that. Thank you very much. And with that, again, we're headed to lunch at Jason's Deli today for those in the room. And thank you for joining us today. Take care. Have a good week.
How many going to lunch? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.